Are you sometimes invited to these brainstorming sessions, creative meetings, or invited to projects where you have to solve complex problems by coming up with novel, original ideas? In most organizations, across most professions, we are increasingly expected to put in some creative efforts into our work tasks, into our everyday work. But most people don't know how to be creative at will or on command. These increasingly expectations to be creative, combined with low creative skills and creative confidence, can cause some problems. Let me demonstrate this with an example where we, instead of asking people to be creative, we ask them to play the violin. So we imagine expectations to play the violin, even giving out violins to all employees, all leaders. Because most people don't know how to play the violin, it will probably sound horrible as they try. Over time, employees and leaders will develop a resistance towards playing the violin because they feel no value. They don't feel like they're producing good work while they're playing the violin. And they will slowly lose their confidence as they fail to play the violin when they're expected to play it. Eventually, they will agree to stop this nonsense of playing the violin and go back to normal ways of working. The same is the case for creativity. If you are asking people to be creative, but they don't know how to be creative, they will not feel successful. They will feel like they're wasting their time. They'll experience again and again that as they are expected to produce some novel breakthrough ideas, the only thing they can produce are the ideas they have already seen before, heard before, or in some way done before. Eventually, they'll consider their creative efforts as a failure and start to develop a resistance towards this creative work. If we want to set expectations for creativity to ourselves, to our colleagues, to a group of leaders, then we have to ensure that we have the creative skills and the creative confidence to successfully perform these creative efforts. If you want to learn to ride the bicycle, it's not enough to read about how to ride a bicycle or watch other people do it. It will help you, but eventually, in order to be a really good biker, you need to get up on the bicycle and practice over and over again. The first times you may fall over or lose the balance. You may be not confident to take the bike to work or to school. So you'll have to practice to develop this confidence. It's the same when we want to learn math, any kind of hobby or sport, all the kinds of skill sets. Practice is key. We need to practice creativity as a cognitive skill, but also as a social skill in our teams or with our colleagues. And in order to do that, we need to get to know each other as creative human beings. We need to see how our colleagues sometimes produce inspiring ideas. We need to experience how they sometimes say yes and further develop your crazy, wild, novel ideas. And you need to get that experience over and over again to turn it into confidence. In most cases, we probably need a kind of sandbox experience where we have nothing at stake, where we cannot be judged for being irrational because we suggest wild ideas. These sandbox experiences can be created by taking non-domain or non-profession, non-organizational problems up, like everyday problems, something not directly related to your work right now. Something maybe you have experienced in the past at your work, or random situations like improving a supermarket, solving a problem for a hairdresser, salon, or something like that, where everybody can be creative without fear that they'll be judged for their lack of professional insights when they suggest these wild ideas. We need to develop a common language about creativity. We need to have a common understanding about why we're creative, how we are creative, and when we are creative. We also need to learn creativity as a set of tools, methods, so we can temporarily enhance our creative efforts. Something that can kickstart our creative thinking, keep it going, take us into new directions of thinking. something that can help us keep an open mind and being curious when new ideas are suggested. But we may also want to develop creativity into a habit, like a second nature, something that comes natural to us whenever we need to be creative. So it's like an approach in life for solving problems at work and privately. It's possible to talk about this as a creativity journey with 4 steps towards becoming far more creative in your team or in your organization. Step 1 is to practice your creative skills and boost your creative confidence in this sandbox environment. It is to help people quickly advance into knowing how to be creative and kind of turning it into a formal operation where everybody knows the way of being creative in this team and everybody knows how the others are creative because you've learned it together. The first question, of course, is which creative skills do we want to develop in our team? Maybe you want to become better at challenging what everybody else takes for granted, or you want to produce more ideas, better ideas, more original, valuable ideas, or you want to become better at seeing potential where most others only find trouble, kind of being more open-minded and curious towards the new ideas. Or maybe you want to be better at persuading others on your new ideas. You also need to decide who to invite onto this creativity journey. Who are you going to take in to be part of this common language on creativity? Who needs this toolbox for creativity? And maybe some need to develop it into a habit, like a second nature. Developing your creative skills and boosting your creative confidence can preferably be conducted as a weekly or daily training path, maybe 10 minutes every morning or 1 hour every Friday, where you practice together to become more creative. As you develop your creative skills and boost your creative confidence, it's about time to start facilitating creativity on problems and work tasks that are directly related to your daily work. Maybe in a project where you can facilitate creative sessions or meetings. This could be conducted by an internal or external facilitator who are particularly curious about these creative ways and are willing to facilitate your official formal meetings and workshops. You can also facilitate it by integrating your new creative skills into the standard work procedures and work processes you have already established in your organization. Maybe you have a particular way of solving your problems. You could integrate more creativity into these standard ways of solving your problems. Most people will find it easy to integrate the new creative skill sets into their daily work tasks. But some people need help. This is why the facilitation is so important. It's about giving people experiences of how these new creative skills can help solve everyday work-related problems. It's about giving insights how these new skills can be used in a general everyday life. Step 3 of your creativity journey. Now people have started gaining skills, confidence, and they have started seeing how to integrate this new creativity into their everyday work life. So now it's about time to start supporting specific individuals, teams, or ideas. You can design packages that is given to people for ideas that are particularly novel and interesting, inspiring. And these kind of packages should help testing whether the ideas are good, whether the ideas are worth going for on a bigger scale in the organization. It's about identifying and supporting those first movers in the organization, those who takes in creativity first and takes it serious. It's also to help them bypass through the current system. Maybe they'll meet local resistance, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the idea is bad. Sometimes you need support from outside your local team in order to get the idea going, in order to make it persuasive, in order to elaborate it so that your team may like it eventually. Supporting creative efforts and teams and individuals. It's also about identifying barriers for creative efforts and to help remove these barriers in the organization. Maybe you can identify these barriers through interviews or questionnaires, and you can help team leaders and team members to delete or remove these barriers over time. Step 4 of your creativity journey. Now everyone knows exactly how to be creative. Everyone is confident on being creative, that they can produce new, novel, valuable ideas on any kind of problem given to them, even how complex it may be. And they know how to integrate it into their daily work tasks. And they are confident that they receive support from management and from the broad organization. Now it's time to start expecting creativity. Maybe you can integrate this expectation as a very informal approach on your daily work life by asking questions like, can I see your other ideas when you approach with new ideas from your colleagues or leaders? This will open up and ensure that they are always ready to present the alternative ideas they produced before they made their decision. It shows a little bit about something, how creatively they have explored the idea area or solution space before they make up their mind which idea they like best. You can also make it a little bit more formal by integrating idea systems where you collect ideas, you evaluate the ideas, and maybe you integrate some kind of support into this idea system. But you should be aware that most creative efforts happen on a daily basis during everyday work tasks. It's not necessarily something you can easily report into an idea system and giving some kind of reward for it. Most creative efforts is invisible to the leaders, to the broader organizational perspective.